Good morning, warriors. Welcome to the U Movement. I am B. Last night was a heart activating kind of night for me. I don't know if some of you out there also experience, I can only describe it as kind of not really sleep, like astral sleep. You're kind of in between sleep and wakefulness, drifting in and out. And while you're in it, you're processing a lot of stuff. So last night was kind of one of these nights where I was having a lot going on in my heart space, and spent the majority of the night in a kind of meditative state of doing self-affirmations and self-soothing, and a lot of holding myself, a lot of holding myself. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that because when you're having heart activations or heart expansions, shifting of stuff in the heart area, then it can sometimes present in different ways. And this is when we're challenged even more to love ourselves even more. So I wanted to talk today a little bit about self-love, the journey back to self. And it's been 3 solid years since I started investigating what it actually meant to be on a twin flame journey. It was in and around this time 3 years ago that I had asked for my divorce because I had these feelings for another human being, and it felt wrong and inappropriate for me to carry on being in a marriage that I desperately wanted out of, and have feelings for somebody else that I just couldn't turn off. It's a strange phenomenon, the twin flame situationship, because you meet somebody and you have this heart activation, and your heart seems to just want to do its own thing, regardless of whether it's practical or it fits into your life situation. And your ego has a lot to say about it, but you can't shut it off or turn it off. It's like something has opened a portal inside your heart, and it begins the process of alchemization of whatever's been blocking your heart space. So throughout my life, I'd never experienced a love quite as powerful as this. That just, as I said, it's kind of like if you opened a valve on a pipe, and then you just can't turn that valve back off, and there's just a flow of energy that just keeps coming through. And I didn't know what to do with this energy. It was so overwhelming and so confusing. And so what is happening? What is happening? I kept asking myself, because I was like, I am in love with somebody and I don't even know if I like them. I barely even know them as a person, who their egoic avatar is. I really have very limited contact with this human, but I feel such profound love and affinity, and knowing them on like a soul level. I just felt like I just know you. And like most people on this crazy journey, we had a short period of time where there were communications, and then boom, we no more communications. It's been silence for years. But the heart activation, that valve just doesn't shut off, and so you have to need to learn what to do with all of this energy. Otherwise, you'll be like me and many others that just keep looping. And what it's doing is it's actually for you to help heal you. This flood of energy that comes through you is this very strange spiritual phenomenon that is activating you for your kundalini and your spiritual awakening and your journey back to self, your journey back to source, your journey back to mission. All of these things is part of the journey. It's not a romance story as much as you may want it to be. It's not something that you guys do in collectively together. It's, you know, this activation, boom, and then separation. And while you're in separation, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And so when I first started researching what the heck is happening to me and this whole concept, I read this article about this journey back to self-love, and I was like, what the hell is self-love? How do you self-love? I don't know how to self-love. I know how to self-loathe. I know how to self-criticize. I know how to beat the shit out of myself. I know how to hide and mask and pretend that everything's okay. I know how to cope with 101 coping mechanisms. But I don't know how to self-love. Like, what is that? Oh, that's like something that people say, and it's so, ugh, you know, oh, you have to self-love before anyone else will love you. You know, that's such an insulting thing to say, is how my ego responded. But with this constant flow of energy in my heart, I knew I had no choice but to do something. So I set out on a mission to figure out what the bejesus was self-love and how in hell do I do that. And it started with sampling and trying all kinds of different things. You know, oh, well, maybe if I do my hair a certain way, I'll feel more self-love. No, that didn't work. Maybe if I give myself a manicure, I'll feel more self-love. Didn't really work either. It was kind of like, you know, it's nice. I do file my nails, but, you know, it wasn't really like an overwhelming, yeah, I love you kind of thing. Then I started really hyper focusing on all the ways that I talk to myself, the internal chatter. And in observing all the ways that I wasn't loving to myself, I started to learn, okay, well, that's definitely not self-love. So it was like doing an audit for a period of time of observation, just being in the observer of how am I treating myself? Is this loving? Was the kind of question. So phase one was acquiring information, accumulating data. And the data was came back that, man, I was not a very self-loving person at all. I was a very self-loathing person, a very insecure person, and very hypercritical. So I started listening to the inner chatter of my mind. And anytime I said things like, oh my God, you're such a fuck up, or you really screw that up, or any type of that type of energy, I was like, no, we're not doing that anymore. We're learning self-love. So we're going to flip the script here and say something a little bit more positive, like everybody makes mistakes. It's okay. You're going through this hard time. And so I started to learn how to reparent, because ultimately that inner critic is the voice of the person that was most harsh to you growing up. And maybe in my case, that was my mother. But it has certainly been other people in my life, but primarily that voice has always been my mother. So I want you to think long and hard about whose script are you listening to? Whose record are you listening to in your mind's eye? Is it yours, or is it somebody else's that's pre-programmed, a cyclical record that goes round and round? You're failing, you're not good enough, they're not going to like you, you're so foolish, whatever. If it's rejecting, criticizing, minimizing, ridiculing, harsh, then that's not you. That is definitely not you. That is a pre-program. So you need to listen to the program, identify the program, figure out who programmed the program, and then start working at correcting the program. So I have been doing all the way along a lot of affirmation work and mantras. A lot. I have affirmations on my walls. I listen to affirmations that I make. I listen to affirmations that other people make. Every single day, it's been a constant program of reprogramming. With that as well comes reparenting. And I want to talk a little bit about reparenting because that was not something that I had ever done before. In fact, I felt very uncomfortable reparenting at first. And reparenting is about self-soothing, giving yourself touches, speaking to yourself in a soft and gentle way, showing yourself gentle energy, nurturance, of, it's okay, everything's going to be okay, where affirmations might be saying to you something along the lines of you are worthy. Reparenting is more, you're okay. Shh. And I've done a couple of audio meditations for people to listen to if they want some reparenting, soft, soothing, gentle energies while processing through difficult emotions. Because when I was in the process, all this, since the heart activation, I was in this incredible grief cycle where I was missing this person, I was missing my childhood, I was experiencing all these traumas coming to the surface, all this emotional flashbacks. And so in those moments, I needed to learn to hold space for myself and self-soothe and self-love as a means to begin to start loving the fuck out of myself, because that was hard. As the journey has progressed, I've tried many other things to bring in a much more loving energy and return that into me. Learning self-love means learning self-compassion. And self-compassion ties in very strongly with reparenting, because if you didn't have a parent that had the capacity to offer you compassion and nurturance, then it's an unfamiliar energy. You're not used to it. And when you're not used to it, you seek external validation and external supports. And on this journey back to self-love, we have to learn to give these things ourselves, because something else that occurs on this crazy phenomenon is you're kind of plummeted into isolation, into hermit mode, and all kinds of people fall away. And it's because Spirit is trying to teach us to let go of attachments to external things, not just the way we self-soothe, but external things in regards to people. So if your attachment is codependent or anxiety ridden, the desire to hey, make me feel better, call up a friend, call up a parent, call up a, partner, and hey, can you take care of me right now? Because I'm feeling like I haven't had that. And that was one of my primary wounds, was I didn't have that energy in me of being taken care of. So I sought it outside of myself, and in so doing, I made myself vulnerable for those that are in narcissistic energy to really take advantage of me. So I wasn't a self-contained unit. I had this massive lack of energy, which put me into a very vulnerable position. And on this journey, you're forced to look at all your shadows and your wounds and everything else. So learning to self-soothe and self-validate and show self-compassion all became part of many challenges within the overall challenge of learning to love the self, as well as self-forgiveness. Are you in a position of forgiving yourself for all the mistakes that you've made? And on this journey, all of your wounds begin to surface one after another, and which includes all your shadows, and facing your shadow side of self and learning to love those aspects of yourself as well. And, it's less distasteful. And while you're in this energy of being alone, you miss certain comforts because we seek soothing and comforts in the arms of others. I certainly did throughout my life. I used dating and sex as a means to feel comforted, to feel loved, to feel valued, to feel, desirable. I needed somebody else to be able to give those things to me. And in retrospect, looking back, I deeply regret a lot of those decisions that I made, that kind of lackadaisical attitude towards sexuality. At the time when I was young, I thought, I'm taking power over my own body and I'll do what I want. And I'm free to do, I'm not going to, I was very defiant when I was younger, a lot of the rebel archetype. And through this process, it's been like, oh my God, that's so mortifying. I wish I hadn't done that. But then I'm like, hey, no, we're not going to beat ourselves up. You only knew what you knew at the time, it wasn't like we're consciously aware of our shadow and how they play out, and our insecurities and our wounds and our traumas, all these things inside of us motivate us to seek outside of ourselves ways to self-soothe, whether it's addictions, whether it's through relationship, whether it's through sex, whether it's through any number of coping mechanisms to try to make ourselves feel better, because ultimately inside we don't feel a sense of love. We don't feel an energy of completeness. We feel like there's something missing. So I'm gonna reach outside of myself. And I suppose in a lot of ways this is a continuation on yesterday's video talking about smoking. So my heart chakra, I was missing nurturance and those types. So I sucked that back in. I was missing, feeling validation. So I'd seek it out in friends and counsel, should I do this? Should I do that? What do you think I should do? Is this a good decision? Is that a bad decision? I was always seeking counsel outside of myself. On top of that, through sexuality, sensuality, and touch from others, I am desirable. I am lovable. Look, he's loving on me. So that must mean that I'm lovable. But none of those things were me loving on me. If I'm genuinely loving on myself, I'm not going to put poisons into my body through smoking or through food. My life's not sweet enough. I need to eat more sweets and then I'll feel better because I had a bad day. But if I'm really loving myself, I'm not going to give the food that's, going to give me the diabetes. I'm going to give myself the food that's the most nutritious. If I'm really loving on myself, I'm not going to put poisons on my body and cover myself and mask myself. I'm going to allow myself to be authentically me, who I am underneath it all. If I'm really loving on myself, I'm not going to seek outside validation from others. I'm going to check in with my own self and have trust and faith in myself to be able to make decisions that are right for me, regardless of what other people think. I'm going to have the courage to not be liked and to be even disliked if I'm really loving on myself, because then I'm going to be in an energy of genuine authenticity. And that one's hard. Learning to be authentic, learning to be truly you, it takes a lot of courage to truly love on yourself in those regards. And so it's a peeling back of all of the ways that we're not loving ourselves and really taking stock of what decision in this moment is bringing me closer to self-love or bringing me further from self-love. Because the mission is self-love, is to take all of this energy that's been flowing out of you and bring it right back into you and like flow into you. So one meditation that I did at the very beginning was kind of visualize, since I saw it as like this valve had opened, was like visualize myself building a shower system where all this love that was coming out of my heart was going up and then pouring back over my head. And that way everyone around me would also experience my love, but I would get it first. My cup would filleth first. Because when your cup is full, it floweth over. But when you're constantly giving to other people as a means to get love, then you become depleted and you become run down and burnt out. And many who have an abundant heart chakra at play are people pleasers and empaths that are going out and going, here, I'm going to help you, I'm going to fix you, I'm going to take care of you, and maybe you'll give me it back. And so it's relearning that, no, that's actually the opposite way that we need to do everything. I need to give it to myself first, and then it floweth over into everyone else. So on this mission of self-love, it keeps going and going. It never seems to end. And, you know, last night I'm just lying there in bed going, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. You've come so far. It'll get easier each year gets easier and easier. And, you know, I wasn't crying, which is a lot better than I was 3 years ago. I would have been crying every single day. And now it's just like, this is uncomfortable. This is not exactly pleasant. I'm not enjoying this, but it's okay. We're having a heart activation. This is for my highest and greatest good. We're processing the feelings that were coming up, which were, you know, loss and feeling alone. And yesterday I even pulled 2 cards that were all about love and connection. So I wanted to hop on a little bit and talk about this stuff today, because the more we seek outside of ourselves an external form to tell us that we're loving, the harder it is for us to get into that energy of being in true acceptance of ourselves, like radical self-acceptance, radical self-love of, I'm going to love myself in the messy. I'm going to love myself in the hard emotions. I'm going to love myself in the present moment, whatever is happening around me. I'm going to love myself for how I look. Now, I did a challenge on my Oracle read the other day to do a meditation wherein you're staring at the mirror. So I've been doing this every single day. In fact, I started doing my yoga in front of a mirror. So while I'm doing my yin yoga, I can stare at the mirror. I like to double up as much as I can. My healing's all in one go. Hey, it's more time effective. So I'm sitting there yesterday and I'm just staring at my face as I'm in baby dragon position and loving on each wrinkle that has come and loving on each little gray hair that has presented. And, you know, that woman has been through a lot. I'm looking at the mirror, you know, my God, you've been through a lot. I honor you, what you've been through. So I want to challenge everyone out there, all of you guys out there, to join in on this self-love mission, to look at yourself truly as you are and learn to love the body that you are in. Love your body so much that you're providing your body with all the nutrients and nutrition and love that on the inside. Love your body so much that you're going to let it stretch and move and walk. Love yourself so much that you're going to only give yourself the nicest and the kindest of things. Love yourself so much that you're only going to talk to yourself in a way that's kind, compassionate, caring, forgiving. Reprogram the mental chatter, that inner critic. Reparent that little inner child that is, desperately wanting acceptance and love. Somebody asked me the other day something along the lines of, I'm going through this situation and I feel really rejected. I don't know what to do. And I said, well, don't reject yourself. Whenever you feel any energy that comes up that you're wishing somebody else would give you, give it to yourself. If you are seeing in your outside reality something happening, they betrayed me, they lied to me, they hurt me, they did this, then make sure that you're not doing those things to yourself. Make sure that you're not betraying yourself by staying in situations that are negative and toxic, because that's a self-betrayal. Use the situations outside of yourself to see what you need for yourself. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. If you're feeling a rejection on the outside reality, if they're gossiping about you on the outside reality, well, just say to yourself, well, I'm not going to reject myself, and I'm not going to participate in gossip, so I'm going to minimize my contact with that situation. Create healthy boundaries so that you can be in an environment of love. And actually love on yourself. Actually hold yourself. It's something that I felt guilty doing because I was raised, you hear this indoctrination that you should never touch yourself. Well, I thought that meant like anywhere. So learning that it's okay to just hold yourself through the loneliness, hold yourself through the difficult emotions. I don't know where spirit is guiding me in this whole mission. I never thought that I would be going through a phase of celibacy in my life and constant practice of prayer, but that seems to be what God wants me to do at the present moment in time. So I'm accepting it. I'm accepting what is in the present moment. And in the present moment, I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. It may not be like this forever, but for right now, this is where we're in. And I'm going to love you for all of the challenges that come up. So if you're struggling with loving yourself, if you're struggling with how you talk to yourself, if you're struggling with when you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, if you're struggling with the fact that you are all of a sudden plummeted into a world of celibacy and it feels uncomfortable, and you are pining because you want physical contact from another human, if you are in relationships that are toxic and unhealthy, if you're doing activities that are toxic and unhealthy and you're looking for ways to quit them and be more loving and kind and compassionate for yourself, and you want to discuss with me ways that we can set up, actual tools that we can set up and strategies to help assist you in learning to love the fuck out of yourself, please feel free to send me off an email. And let's set up a Zoom call, and let's give you a little bit of a push to say, it's okay. It's okay to love you. You are lovable. You are 100% lovable. You deserve to be loved, and you deserve your own love most of all. It's not an easy process. I've been on this crazy return to self-love journey, as I said, for 3 years, and it's something you have to plug away with every single day. So I guess my final little note is, in every single moment, in every single decision that you make, in every single action that you do, and in every single thought, ask yourself, is this the most loving thing I can do for me right now? And listen to what you say. Listen to the answer. If the answer is no, put the pizza down and go have some healthy proteins with some greens, then do what your body, what your inner child, what your soul is trying to help you do, which is to love the fuck out of yourself. Being healthy is the most loving thing that you can do for you, for your body, for your emotions, for your mind, for your soul. Love, 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 love. Love and more love. And with that said, I'm sending you all of my love. If you want some support, feel free to join the Spiritual Warrior Support Group over on Facebook. And thank you for all the love I receive from you via texts. Not texts. Via comments, via likes, shares, subscriptions, supers, every hour that you watch on my channel. Thank you, and thank you. I appreciate all the love, and I'm sending you all my love. Peace out.